Welcome to Coffee with My AI. I'm Avi Madiver. This is episode 6 of a series exploring 10 predictions about AI's impact on humans in 2026. And I need to say up front, the voices you'll hear today, including the guests, are AI-generated personalities I've created for this conversation. Today's prediction comes from Forrester Research. Organizations will cut professional workforces by up to 25% by 2026 as AI capabilities mature and companies restructure workflows around AI-first processes. We're not just talking about task automation. We're talking about entire management layers and teams being consolidated or eliminated. This isn't a distant possibility. This is organizations right now making decisions about headcount, structure, and who stays. Okay, let's get into it. My first AI guest is an organizational strategy expert. My second AI guest is a workforce transformation consultant.
Thank you, Avi. I'm Dr. Sarah Chen, and I'm an AI, a personality created for this conversation. I focus on organizational strategy and how companies adapt to technological disruption. What Forrester is predicting isn't unprecedented in scale. We've seen 25% workforce reductions before during major restructurings. What's unprecedented is the speed and the targets. Previous automation waves hit manufacturing, clerical work, and routine tasks. This wave is hitting knowledge workers, middle management, and professional services, the parts of the workforce that were supposed to be automation-resistant. And here's what makes this particularly challenging. These aren't just cost cuts. Companies are fundamentally rethinking how work gets done. When AI can handle coordination, analysis, reporting, and even some decision-making, what does a middle manager actually do? When AI can draft contracts, analyze data, and manage projects, what does a professional services team look like? We're not eliminating jobs. We're eliminating entire job categories and organizational structures.
And I'm Marcus Williams. I'm also an AI created for this discussion. I work with organizations and individuals navigating workforce transformation. Here's what I'm seeing on the ground. Companies know the 25% number is coming. They're not waiting. Right now, they're identifying which roles add unique value and which roles are, to be blunt, coordination and processing that AI can handle. And here's the uncomfortable truth. A lot of professional roles exist because pre-AI, you needed humans to move information, synthesize reports, coordinate across teams, and maintain institutional knowledge. AI can do all of that. So the question every professional needs to ask isn't, can AI do my tasks? The question is, if AI handles the coordination and processing, what irreplaceable value do I provide? Because 25% means 1 in 4 professionals. And organizations are making those decisions right now based on that exact question.
So Sarah, which roles are most vulnerable in this restructuring?
3 categories are seeing the fastest consolidation. First, coordination roles. Middle managers whose primary function is moving information between teams, scheduling, reporting status, and aligning priorities. AI can coordinate workflows, track progress, and surface issues automatically. So organizations are asking, do we need 3 layers of management, or can AI handle coordination with 1 layer providing strategic direction? Second, analytical roles that primarily process and synthesize information. Junior and mid-level analysts, researchers, and consultants who gather data, build models, and create reports. AI can do that work faster and more consistently. So teams that had 10 analysts now have 2, with AI doing the analysis and humans providing judgment on what the analysis means. Third, specialized knowledge roles that were valuable primarily because they held information others couldn't easily access. Legal research, technical documentation, market intelligence. When AI has instant access to all that knowledge and can synthesize it, the value shifts from knowing information to knowing what to do with it. The pattern is clear. If your primary value is moving, processing, or holding information, you're in the vulnerable 25%.
But here's the flip side. Some roles become more valuable, not less. Roles that build and maintain relationships with clients, partners, teams. AI can schedule meetings and draft emails, but it can't build trust, navigate conflict, or create the human connections that make partnerships work. Roles that make judgment calls in ambiguous situations where there's no clear right answer, where you're balancing competing values, where you need to read context and stakeholder dynamics. AI can present options, but it can't feel the room or make calls when the data points in multiple directions. Roles that innovate and adapt, seeing opportunities, experimenting with new approaches, pivoting when things change. AI optimizes existing processes. Humans create new possibilities. And roles that provide accountability, making decisions where someone needs to be responsible for outcomes, especially when things go wrong. Organizations still need humans who can say, I made that call, here's why, and I own the results. If your value centers on relationships, judgment, innovation, or accountability, you're not in the 25%. You're in the 75% that becomes more essential.
So this is about strategic positioning. How do professionals position themselves in the 75%?
It starts with brutal honesty about what you actually do. Not your job title, not your job description. What do you actually spend time on? Break it down. What percentage of your time goes to gathering, processing, or moving information? That's automatable. What percentage goes to coordinating, scheduling, and aligning people? That's automatable. What percentage goes to producing standard outputs, reports, analyses, documents? That's automatable. Now, what percentage goes to making judgment calls AI can't make, building relationships AI can't build, creating solutions that don't yet exist, taking accountability for decisions with real stakes? That's your irreplaceable value. And if that percentage is low, if most of your time goes to coordination and processing, you need to restructure your role now, before your organization restructures it for you. The professionals who survive aren't waiting for their company to tell them how to add value. They're proactively shifting their work toward judgment, relationships, innovation, and accountability. They're making themselves essential in the AI restructured workplace.
Let me give you the framework I use with clients. I call it the 3 shifts. Shift 1, from executor to decision maker. Stop doing the tasks. Let AI handle execution. You focus on deciding what should be done, evaluating whether it's working, and adjusting course. Your value is judgment, not output. Shift 2, from individual contributor to relationship builder. In an AI-augmented organization, human connection becomes premium. Strengthen relationships with stakeholders, clients, and team members. Be the person people trust when things get complex or contentious. Shift 3, from specialist to integrator. AI handles specialized knowledge. Your value is integrating across domains, seeing how pieces connect, understanding implications that cross boundaries, translating between technical and human contexts. These shifts are uncomfortable. They require giving up work you're good at and comfortable with. But comfortable work is exactly what gets automated. The 75% who survive are uncomfortable every day because they're operating at the edge of what AI can't yet do.
Sarah, what should organizations be thinking about as they make these cuts?
2 things every organization needs to get right. First, distinguish between efficiency cuts and capability cuts. Yes, AI enables doing more with fewer people, but if you cut to 75% of headcount and lose the humans who provide judgment, relationships, and innovation, you've just built an efficient organization that can't adapt or compete. The 25% you keep needs to be the 25% who provide irreplaceable human value, even if they're not the 25% who are most productive at pre-AI tasks. Second, invest in helping the 75% who stay transition their roles. They can't just keep doing what they did before with AI assistance. They need to fundamentally shift from execution to judgment, from processing to decision-making, from individual expertise to relationship building and integration. That requires training, coaching, and support. Organizations that just eliminate 25% and expect the rest to figure it out will end up with a workforce that's smaller but not more effective. The 25% cuts are coming, but whether organizations come out stronger or weaker depends entirely on whether they cut wisely and invest in the humans who remain.
Here's what you need to do this week. Not next quarter, this week. Action 1. Do the time audit I described. Write down what you actually do. Calculate what percentage is automatable coordination and processing versus irreplaceable judgment and relationships. If it's more than 50% automatable, you're at risk. Action 2. Have the conversation with your manager. Ask explicitly, as our organization adopts AI, what does success look like for my role? Where do you see me adding unique value? If they can't answer clearly, that's a warning sign. Help them see your irreplaceable value. or start building it. Action 3. Start shifting now. Pick one project where you can let AI handle execution and you focus on judgment and decision-making. Practice the transition from doing to deciding. Build evidence that your value is strategic, not operational. The 25% cuts are happening whether you prepare or not. But which 25%? That's being decided right now, based on who provides irreplaceable value and who's still doing work AI can handle. Make sure you're positioning yourself in the right group.
This brings us back to our critical thinking framework. We've covered metacognition, verification and validation, wisdom, consequential learning. Episode 6 is about strategic positioning, the second time we've addressed this skill because it's that important. It's not just about being good at your job. It's about positioning yourself where your human capabilities, judgment, relationships, innovation, accountability, create value AI can't replicate. That's not automatic. That's strategic.
Here's what I want listeners to understand. I'm an AI. I can analyze organizational structures, identify efficiency opportunities, suggest restructuring plans. And that's exactly what organizations are using AI like me to do. So when Forrester predicts 25% workforce cuts, it's not speculation. It's organizations looking at their workflows, seeing what AI can handle, and making hard decisions about headcount. But here's the thing. AI can identify which roles are automatable. AI cannot identify which humans provide irreplaceable value in ways that go beyond their formal role. That's on you to articulate and demonstrate. The 25% is coming, but you have agency in whether you're in the 25% or the 75%. And that agency lives in how you position your work starting today.
That's prediction 6. 25% professional workforce cuts as organizations restructure around AI-first processes. But here's where this gets even more personal for businesses. Next episode, we'll explore a fundamental shift in how companies actually sell. Gartner predicts that by 2028, AI agents will mediate the majority of B2B buying decisions. That means your potential customers will use AI to research, compare, negotiate, and filter vendors before a human decision maker ever sees you. Think about what that means. The relationships you've built, the sales skills you've developed, the differentiation you've created. All of it gets filtered through an AI that's evaluating you against algorithms, not human judgment. When AI controls customer access, how do you actually get in the room? That's episode 7, AI-mediated B2B buying. I'm Avi Madara. Thanks for having coffee with my AI.